So actually, before we jump into the animation blueprint, there's one thing that we did not do. So if you come back to the weapon base, this is actually telling the system to play the reloading animation, but it also needs to reset the is reloading to false, otherwise it'll never play, right? So or it might keep playing. That could also happen, but we have to reset this is reloading flag, boolean flag, to false, so that it can be set to true again once the player hits the R key. But if the easiest way easiest way in any Unreal or even any other engine to do that is to wait for the animation to play out and then do the post play operations on the class or reference or object or whatever you're dealing with, whatever it is that you're dealing with. But in this case, which means that you have to get the length of the animation. Let's say it's like half a second, and then you say, okay, wait for half a second and then do it, because you already know the length of the animation. The easiest way is actually to go for a delay function. But however, because we are inside a function here, so when you call for delay, you're gonna see that the delay is not available. That's because we are in a function yet. So inside a function, you cannot call the delay. That's the rule. So the best way to go about that is to actually add a new return node. So this is a function that simply is a void function. We don't have a return node. So what we'll do is we'll say add a return node. Okay, and now this is going to return something, but what is it going to return? And based on what it returns is when we will be setting it back as false. And the reason we are doing that is because we want to get this outside this function into the event graph so that we can do things inside here. So I'll just have to grab this and drop it inside this. That will create an output get. Now, of course, when I click that, it will have an output, a variable. So I can say, I don't know, I think I can say is reloading, right? That's the name of the variable or the output variable. So which should be is reloading. And once that's there, now when you come back here, let's say if you come back to player, I believe, no, if this is the reload weapon, and where am I calling it from? I think inside here. So this is the reload weapon, and now you can see that you have the is reloading output pin. Okay, this is the execute out, and this is the output of this variable itself. Okay, so we're gonna add some logic here. Of course, I'll have to increase the length of this comment box and also the length of this so that it will span all the way till the end. Now, from here, I'll say a branch, or easiest here is going to be branch. Okay, and once that's true, and then I'll say add a delay, and then after that, once the delay has been added, I'm going to move this back a little bit. Once the delay has been added, all we want to do is get the reloading or reset the reloading to false, like that. Now, we have to establish the time it needs to wait, right? We haven't done that, but we have to establish a time it needs to wait, the duration of the delay. The easiest way, of course, to do that is first compile this and go over to the animation section inside the character and look for, if I can look for the reload. There it is. So double click on that, and here you can see that it's 3.3 seconds, I believe, right? It's 3.3 seconds in all. Okay, so it's 3.3 seconds. That's been established. Let's go back to weapon base, and inside here, not weapon base but player, and now you can say 3.3 seconds. Okay, and compile that. You should have no errors and should be absolutely fine, and everything else is good. But we still haven't set up, I'm going to close this now, but we still haven't set up the transitional rules for idle to reload and back, walk run to reload and back, right? So now it's time for us to set up these these transitional rules. So first I'm going to say idle to reload. When I double click on that, I'm going to be thrown inside this rule, and of course it's asking for a variable. So we have it for is crouching, is sprinting, and speed and all that. So I'm going to need a same variable for is reloading, right? Is reloading, and of course when I hit compile, it's still going to show me the same issues, all of these 4 warnings that I need to fix. let me just jump over to the event graph quickly, and then I'll come back here to this rule. So now I can see that all of these sequence nodes are running fine. So I just need to set this is reloading to something. So I can either choose crouch or I can choose this. So maybe I think I'll get the crouch, and I'll drag another wire from as player, and I'll say get is reloading, and that is coming in from the player, not from here. So once that's there, I'll just drop it here, and from here I'll just say I want to set is reloading, and this is from coming in from player, but I want this set is reloading. Okay, and this is what it's going to set, and I'll just connect that, and that will be all set up. Okay, all nice and clean. And I'll just move that to the right a little bit. So this is from crouch, and of course all you have to do is just pull out another wire and say is reloading, and so on. Okay, so that's all set, and I'll just compile that. Of course, I'll go back to idle to reload, and I'll just take a quick look at this. This is coming in from calculate direction and cast to player, so everything is good. Okay, fine. So I'll just go over to idle to reload. I'll drag is reloading and drop it here, and that should be good for idle to reload. So once you compile that, I think this should go away. So when I compile that, so that goes away. Now, of course, this is also asking me to go back, and if I go to walk and run, and I'll also set up walk and run to reload. This is idle to reload, and now this is going to be walk and run to reload, and this is going to have the same kind of transition. Compile, so one more should be taken off the list. Great, and now come back here. Now we have to also do the same thing, or the opposite, for going back to walk and run, or the respective animations from the reload state. Okay, so again, click on this transitional rule and get the is reloading, and now check whether it's false. So I'll just say equal to, that is equal boolean, and put it up here and do that there. There you go. Okay, and now just compile, so one more should go away. Come back here, and this is coming back to idle from reload, so do that again. Exact same thing. I should have copied that, but too late. So equal to boolean. That'll check if it's false, and then this gets connected, and of course that's a little higher. I think that's okay. All right, so when I click on compile now, it should have a green check mark, hopefully. Yes, it does, and all the warnings are gone. Okay, so all of that has been taken care of. I'm going to save everything. I'm going to come here. I'm going to hit save all just in case. I'm going to try and hit play. Right, so I'll run around and shoot, and then I hit R, and then it's reloading. Okay, so it's looking a little weird. And when I'm running around, so it's kind of weird. And when I shoot again, and it's actually looking weird, which we'll fix later. And once that's done, and the hand still stays up for a while, and that's because the animation is not matching with the rig of the gun, which is fine, because when you create a game, you're going to have to create all of them at once, and keeping the character in mind. Now, this character was downloaded differently, and this gun was downloaded differently, so it wasn't really made for this character. Hence, we had to scale it up and down and rotate it and all of that for the socket. Had you made the character and the gun together, or you made the gun for this particular character, then we might not have had to spend a lot of time rotating the gun, scaling it up and down. So let's go over and let's rotate the weapon a little bit, just in case, not just in case, but we have to do it because it's kind of looking ugly. Okay, so I'll just open up if I go to the mesh maybe, and if I look at the preview scene asset, no, actually let me go over to my skeleton, and then into the preview scene settings, I'll select an idle animation as default for previewing. Idle aiming is good enough. Okay, and I'll just look here, and I think I have to just rotate this a little bit, And so if I just come down here, click on the weapon attach, and maybe just a little bit like that. Okay. No, I think I'll just go over here, and it's kind of looking weird, but I think, and maybe move it down, I guess. Come back here, click on this, and move it down, or move it up, I guess, to align it with the finger of the player. That's the finger, maybe like this, and move it here, and maybe okay, and now this should be okay. All right, I don't know. So this is the best we can do with whatever we have. So now when I hit play, and now I can see this, and I'll just shoot the gun, and when I hit reload, and not looking great. All right, his hand still is at the top of the gun, but I can't really help that. And if I run, and if I right click, so most importantly, the reload is actually working with the animation. Now, of course, when your character has a better animation, you can replace this with your character animation and it's all going to work. But most importantly, the reload and the ammo and everything is working fine. Functionally it's good, but aesthetically it's not great, but at least we got the job done. All right, so that's about having the reload animation in place and how to set it up. So let's move on to our next section. Thank you.